I would go back to some of the basic, what I feel are very creative principles of new education, which came out in a book by Paulo Freire, Pedagogy of the Oppressed. Now, Pedagogy of the Oppressed is nothing new. It came out in 68, I think, in Portuguese, and then in 1970 in English and Spanish. And Freire was born in 1921 and died in 1997 or something. So Pedagogy of the Oppressed is 40 years old. But it has got, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. It has got all the basic things. The problem with teacher-student dichotomy. The problem with what he calls banking, where you imagine that the student is the empty vessel and the teacher is the one with all the knowledge, and then you bank the student. You just put your deposits in the student and hope that the student will, having all these deposits, become a knowledgeable, critical person. It just doesn't work. So I think we don't have to, and Freire talks about education as an act of freedom.
What does that mean, though, an act of freedom?
That via education, people are able to make informed decisions about, first of all, their lives, their communities around them, the state, the nation, the world, and therefore free themselves from all kinds of oppression. And right now, education is oppressive. So I would just use Freire, really. I mean, we really don't have to go so far. I don't think there's, I have not read every document there is out there, but I really don't think there's any document as forward-thinking as Freire. Chapter 2 of Freire, everybody go and read. Try and create systems that would use some of these principles. Yeah, it would be impossible to use all the systems, but I think it would be a good, viable starting point.
For example, can you give us an example of how that would be operationalized in the Malaysian public education system?
Okay, for example, the whole idea of banking, I really agree that the teacher cannot just use the student as an empty deposit. The student must be engaged. Now, the Ministry of Education has several times talked about student-centered learning, and that the teachers become students, students become teachers, and the learning happens, that the learning is organic and happens not just from me, the teacher, to you, the student, but from me, the teacher, to you, the student, and from you, the student, back to me, the teacher.
Right. So it's a two-way loop instead of it being one way.
It's a two-way loop, and it involves a different kind of teaching methodology, not just stand and deliver, but engage the students in problem solving. So you have to teach certain things, but you have to find ways to teach it, which is not just using the style of banking.